5 minutes after the painter is already doing the staircase. 11,000. Start looking whether there are green in between. Now you can find them. This is the area of the main entrance. The main shaft, which is wooden staircase, even without building the tower. We decided to renovate all the wooden structure inside the shaft during the pandemic period. The first year museum was being closed, so it was an opportunity. Just a moment ago was then reopened after almost 150 years. This secondary entrance with following the house garage is the main renovation project here. Floor of all those spaces, at least up to the moment the maximum of distance was around 200 meters, because then, thank you, it wasn't too exhausting for two strong miners to transport block in such a way. And then with help of some green, but in the past times, sodium chloride, NaCl, simple rock salt, was the only known substance known to humankind used to preserve food for thousands of years of existence of our species. This substance absorbs water from all of its surroundings. So if you had fish or piece of meat of such a size covered with salt fully, like this famous American beef, organic decomposition couldn't really start to happen if you think about it. You know what happens to pieces of tissue if you leave it outside your house for 2 nights. It's not taken by the raccoons. So all that process could be prevented, which was opportunity for societies of times without technology, living on harsh parts of the planet, stash a lot of supplies for winter. A winter of -40 Celsius, so times when supplies weren't available, and without enough of energy, people wouldn't be able to survive such a weather. And that fact was giving kitchen salt some 25% of value of gold, good people. It was the most wealthy kingdoms in the history of all the Europe. Why isn't it a story for a different place? But one I can also share some interesting country later. If you had situation, good stories, I don't want to ruin your mood in such an early hour, but if you think about it, mine was always part of Polish history for most of the country's existence, some 750 years still. And please come a little bit closer here, so everyone can please have a look. There is some very healthy value about that fact, but more about it later, because we now have to understand something about salt itself, to see the importance, and to understand details in an easier way. But to be able to do that, also, if you want to take a picture instantly, move to the front of the exhibition. To the front, so good people behind you can enter the area without any problems. Be powerful not only because of the actors, but because white color construction reflect light on the landscape. Something about pieces of art. And also the importance of salt is a very important subject, but I thought the border behind that form of the church, a lot of knowledge from there like that. So at some point of the exhibition, I'll tell you a bit more about the rock salt. Represents Hungarian Princess Kinga, patroness saint of city and the mine, and someone who was marrying Polish Duke Bolesław about 750 years ago. So their marriage was one of the first chapters of Polish-Hungarian friendship, which is another long story for a different day, but listen to words of a princess carefully.
How can I take it with me to Poland? I thought, while looking at a salt mine that my father gave me as a wedding gift. I left my homeland for Krakow, where I was to marry Prince Bolesław. My father, the King of Hungary, wanted to give me gold and jewels, but I asked him for salt. They have no salt in Poland, I explained to my father, and thus I was given an entire salt mine and a dozen miners. What was I supposed to do with the gift? Suddenly, a strange thought occurred to me. I came to the mine shaft, took off my engagement ring, and threw it into the mine. When we arrived to Poland, I asked the miners to look for salt. They came back a few days later. The oldest of them approached me. He held a small lump of salt in one hand and my engagement ring in the other.
A beautiful and romantic way to explain complicated geology. My point here is that there was a thriving biosphere living in that sea. And this is the way of life. When some small fish dies and it's eaten by some other creature, or if it's organic tissue accumulates on the seafloor, some type of bacteria will decompose completely. And that particular type of bacteria was conditioned. For explosion, ladies and gentlemen, be ready. Very dangerous. And something happens. No danger. So everything is fine. Everything fine. No, let's carry on, ladies and gentlemen. Those people have so many reactions because otherwise we are able to readapt. So mine was still a small area of first 200 years of its existence, and the distance by the corridors was also around 200 something meters. So it was still an efficient idea for workers to shape block salt to something form of substance. Block weighing about half of the time being pushed or rolled by the workers during the first 100 years. Under royal rule of the Lithuanian dynasty of Jagiellons, this republic was one of the biggest territories in the history of all the Europe and one of the most wealthy kingdoms. And this mine was responsible for some 30% of that income. But to keep up with the blooming economy and rising needs of the royal herd, first person transported here some 500 years ago. Animal health rail was a couple of ago to full view. On 8-hour-long shift. Because miners were working here on the 8-hour-long shift system, like in corporations of our times. Because idea of the late 14th century, when Kazimierz Wielki of Poland, one of the most important of all the Polish kings, created an administration system for the company that started to regulate almost each aspect of work and life. Miners were very wealthy, respected class of users. It was prestigious time of employment to work for the salt mine because they're carrying over the economy of the republic on their shoulders. You were educated specialists, people with some knowledge of geology, engineering, so they were wise enough people to adapt to each single environment of work because each finger was a little bit different, containing spaces, different fashions and structures we needed. Workers were often spending those shifts here in form of long hours. Blood lines of mining families were working here, storm after the others for 8 hours, and then afterwards they were under business. For the first, it was a bit more complicated, but I'll tell you about health and value of the environment is full of salt. The situation was a little bit opposite. Before I get to the point of how this environment is, horses here twice the amount of food and water as they would on the surface. The environment is healthy and temperature is always cooler. On the surface it can be 40 Celsius, some days in the summer, and can be worse in the ages, so it was a bit more dangerous for the horse up in the city. And down in the mine, conditions of labor were often set by the royal commissary of the castle in Krakow. So that gentleman was the power of the firing. So not all people or society are science here. They get to scratch a lot of things from the social making after them. So as they could have excluded artists so late, they could be unbelievably low, steam below the salt neighboring drive to the precious metals, wood of good quality, primitive technology basically, and they're thriving. But in a different form, because they discovered some small resources of water, and on the bottom point of one of the searching valves, they discovered the first block of the strange salt, and that was starting point of the mine's history. Using the salt layers to set it back, but set the plastic salt layers then bend under the force of the surface and quickly transforming here, making a rapid process of collapsing layers to not Actors for 12 hours of their shift, but movement of that wheel was making links of the chain push water. Two pipes between the levels. years old. It covers part of the central northern part of the continent, or in fact it covers underground area of it. So really just remember that it's something nice, but it's not from here. If you want to have a souvenir, that is quite from the place. Very highlight of your visit to my city, at least. This is the underground church. And it's a fantastic people visit my city of all around the world. Quite a nice symbol.
Bardzo zabawy jest oczywiście nad kaplicą największą na świecie potrzebną tej.
Ez a második János Pál.
Exactly, so I'll be that better next time I try to carve a statue. So those reminders will be done.
Excuse me, sorry.
Side of the statue, you will see to go by the second gate here. So on the left of the statue there is an arrow, follow the direction, and then come back here. And about 5 minutes we'll gather at the gate here to visit your place. Here in a moment. Poet, artist, author, but also minister of mining in the Prussian land of Weimar, and a geologist who possesses the biggest collection of minerals in Europe at his times. To understand everything fully, don't use flashes for a moment. Go to the left or to the right side of the chamber and just listen to the acoustic. Goethe once said that written on the bottom of the is very important. That should be supported. Your homework. Orchestra was present in this area for most of the 19th century for emperors of the Austrian Empire. Because in 1795, my country, betrayed by its last king and destroyed by internal civil war turmoil, was invaded by empires of Russia and Austria, who technically just annexed Poland, incorporated all of its territory to their nations, making this country disappear from us for 123 years, being in shackles and chains, not to borrow its own pace. And of course, mine became an important area that could be opened for emperors and the wealthy guests. Or power of different nations dictating their own unilateral. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, I try to share with you as much as the equals. I just need to say that.
To wyrok on no, kiedyś wyrok on mówi, tam się ktoś zrobiło 4 dni.
I no sé, odpali się zaraz.
Dzięki.
Szczęść Boże.